What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Speed Beast YouTube channel. This is LS7 Devin, and today we're reviewing the 2021 Hellcat Redeye Widebody. First, let's start by taking a look what's under the hood. Under the hood, we got a 6.2 liter Hemi supercharged. This car makes 797 horsepower and 717 foot-pounds of torque. This is the Redeye model, so it has an additional 80 horsepower over the regular Hellcat. The car has a iron block with the 4-bolt main. It's very heavy duty. This car also has push rods and a cam-in block. Red lines at 6,300 RPM. The supercharger right here adds an additional 2.7 liters of displacement, and this makes 14.5 psi. Redeye also comes with forged pistons that have oil squirters. Then the car's intake system, it has this big intake, but first it gets its air right here in this headlight hole. It also has one right here. This car also has an AC chiller, so it uses the AC refrigerant system to cool the intake charge, but that's buried here in the supercharger. And that's all we got for under the hood. Like and subscribe, Speed Beast. Right here we got a leather with a suede door panel, just your basic controls. This is pretty high quality for a Dodge or Chrysler product. This car has bucket seats. Comes in automatic. You got your paddle shifters right here. The seats are pretty comfy. I'm 6'2", and I got decent room in here. My head almost hits. The car has metal pedals because it's a race car. And the car has leather and suede seats with the SRT logo in the stitching. Here's your gauges. We have an oil temperature gauge, oil pressure gauge. We're rocking about 50 psi of oil pressure. Coolant 206, battery voltage. Other gauges we got here: trans temp, boost pressure, intercooler coolant temp, air fuel ratio, and air intake temperature. You got your G-force meter, which is cool when you're driving. And then this tells you how much horsepower you're making when you get on the throttle. Now for the AC chiller, if you click this, it'll actually cool the intake temperature charge while you're driving and give you more horsepower. All right, now let's go take this thing for a ride. We are on the public roads here, so can't go too fast, too crazy. But wow, this car feels like it's not even trying, and this thing is just making so much horsepower. Like, it's pinning me in my seat, and it feels like the motor's barely even trying. So let's go over the pros. The number one pro of this car would probably be the acceleration. And then the handling feels pretty good, because this car has the wide body kit with really big tires, so handling's very well. And another thing that's great about this car is race car sounds. You can just hear that supercharger. They go through the paddle shifters, it's all you hear is that supercharger whining. Thing that's great about this car is it has a timeless look. Like, the outside of this vehicle is that standard American muscle car that'll just look good for in 10 years, 20 years from now. It'll be ageless. So that's another pro I'd say about this car, is just it looks awesome. It's very big, but it looks cool. Another thing I'd have to say as a pro is the shift speed. This thing shifts instantaneously. Like, very quick shifts. And then another cool thing about this car is with just $4,000 in bolt-ons, you could bump this thing up to 1,000 horsepower easily with just a couple bolt-on modifications. But this thing is a joy to ride, and this thing is just a straight freight train. So much power. And then another cool pro to this car is the options you have here in the computer. You can switch this thing from 800 horsepower to 500 horsepower with the keys or with the program settings. You could also program suspension. Cons, I'd have to say, would be the brakes. This car is it doesn't have big enough brakes for how heavy it is. The owner of this car has already warped the rotors going to the track once. And then fuel economy is horrible. Tires get shredded really fast. Cost a lot to drive this car and maintain this car. Gets horrible fuel economy. Another thing that's not so good is the traction. This thing, you have to be very careful with the throttle. And then another thing I'd have to say is the throttle. It's not very responsive. It just feels like your throttle that would be in your standard Dodge or Chrysler product. Like, it's either like 25, 50% or full throttle. There's no like in between. So that would have to be a con. I'd have to say the throttle response is not that good. It just feels like it's out of a random Dodge. This car is pretty much the perfect car to take on a back road, you know, in the evening and just go for a joyride. If you need a ton of power to have fun, then just go for a back road country cruise. This is the perfect car for that. For the track, it's good, but too heavy and too big. But just for a perfect weekend car, this thing's amazing. Alright guys, and that's pretty much all I got for this one. If you guys got some knowledge out of this video or liked this video, please smash that subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.